Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are. Welcome to today's Crypto Blast, where myself and Cam, well, mainly Cam, will give the ultimate rapid fire update on the latest news, pricing, flows in institutional crypto. Well, specifically, or trying to lean towards institutional crypto, trying to stay out of the degen area. So think of it as crypto, but with a tie. Let me just add institutional Fi to the channel whilst he's joining. As usual, nothing discussed on this basis session constitute trading or investment advice or infers any kind of endorsement by PIQ or indeed institutional Fi or indeed the hosts, which as you know by now is myself, Mr. Ryan Paisley, and of course Cam O'Connor. Cam, are you receiving me loud and clear?
Loud and clear, on time, and everything. Look at
Oh, mate, do you know what? No one's more shocked than me.
that.
How you doing? You all
Oh,
good?
yeah, good. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. The sun's disappeared, so I'm a bit, jaded on that front. But no, but I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing to find out what's going on in crypto. Take it
I feel you
away.
on that one. I feel you on that one. Let's get it underway. Look, we'll start off with a 24-hour market recap. So, start off with Bitcoin. Bitcoin remains strong. It's up 15% from the lows of last week, despite Trump's tariff shakeup. Whilst risk continuously remains an investor's mind, BTC is still holding above its multi-month downtrend, and we're officially 1 year post the fourth Bitcoin halving. And historically, give a little bit of an insight, this is a time period when Bitcoin miners start to catch a bid as Bitcoin finds its footing, and then mining starts to take a turn and become profitable. So keep an eye out on that if you are into your Bitcoin miners. Yeah, it's potentially
So is
time
this one
to
of those?
to
Is this one of
go
those
on.
like history rhymes things?
Yeah. Sometimes remains similar to how it has traded in the past, but the trading environment is nothing like it
Keep the
was back
faith.
then.
Keep the
So who
faith.
knows? Yeah.
I'm sure regular listeners please back me up on this, but I'm sure yesterday you were telling us to kind of poo-pooing miners. So are we saying that they're back in fashion now then?
Well, no, maybe not just now. Maybe not just yet. I think we've got a little while before that becomes the trend at the moment. But if you look at Riot, for instance, it's over 90% down from its all-time highs, and I think
Oof.
it's around 60% down from the highs that we saw in November, December time. So those stocks have been hit, brutally hard. But
So potentially some
as
value to be had.
well, potentially, but not when BTC has its Bitcoin halving, and that these Bitcoin miners are in for a kick in the teeth because all of a sudden
Yeah.
their revenue's been cut by 50%. Yeah, that's not going to equate well to any stock evaluation, especially with when you take into the broader aspect of tech and the industry with chips, all these ASIC chips that they've been using, and they need refreshes and updates, and all of a sudden energy costs are skyrocketing. These are eating out of the bottom line for these Bitcoin miners. So this last year for them is just not being very well. It will be
Got you.
interesting to see what happens with the American-made Bitcoin company
Oh yeah.
with Trump's family are introducing. How you make Bitcoin American, I'm not entirely sure. Mine it in America and just slap a label on it. Maybe that's how it's done, and we've been this in the
To
trick
be
entire
honest,
time.
like depressingly, I think that's exactly what they're going for. I think
Yeah,
that's about the
yeah.
extent of the logic is just like, oh no, this is the thing is, right, it's almost like they're trying to insinuate that it will have a premium because it was mined in the US. Is like what?
You know what? There is a system where you could probably mine the Bitcoin, send it to a wallet that is opened in the US, and then you can just track that Bitcoin, and whatever Bitcoin just remains in US territory. I don't know how you do it, but maybe that's what
Mate,
they're
stranger
going
things
for.
have happened in crypto, right?
Stranger things have happened indeed.
Well, this week.
Um, well, oh, mate, honestly, I'll tell you what. Once we get to the moving down the
Go
market
on.
cap lists, we'll get a bit more degenerate, unfortunately. But I'm going to
Oh,
leave you to
brilliant.
guess at what ones we're going to cover in a moment's time.
Fart coin.
Um,
Please be fart coin. Is it?
all right, keep that your guess. Keep that as a guess. Uh,
Yes.
You've nailed it. You've nailed it.
Oh, brilliant. There's me bigging it up and say this is crypto with a tie on,
I
and we go
know.
straight to
I know.
Fartcoin. Right, right, I'll shut up. Right, carry on, carry on.
Yeah, yeah, we won't send this one to any of the institutional guys. So, looking across to ETH, Ethereum is currently trading at around $1,640, right at its resistance side of its multi-month downtrend. The question here then is, can ETH follow in Bitcoin's footsteps and hold above the downtrend in the coming days? This downtrend is also expressed amongst the broader altcoin market, with Total 3 facing that same resistance pattern as ETH. And for those that are unsure what Total 3 is, Total 3 tracks the total market cap of the crypto sector, excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum, and stablecoins. So it really gives you a good picture of the alternative market. If you find this interesting, you could also take a look at Total 2. This just excludes Bitcoin and stablecoins. And if you really want to get like into the different sectors of the crypto space, Total DeFi gives you an exclusive look at the DeFi sector of the crypto market cap. So if you load in a charts on TradingView and you want to utilize those, Total 3, Total 2, Total DeFi. I'm sure there's a few others that are quite interesting if you want to get down to all your charts and your patterns and your percentage gains and losses. So moving down the market cap list, the top alts remain flat on the day, showing relative stability over the last 24 hours. Solana is currently trading at $132, XRP at $2.16, and BNB is trading at $582. If you're here for less degenerate news, cover your ears for the next 30 seconds or so. The highest mover on the day,
Oh God.
Ryan nailed it. Fartcoin up 5%.
Oh, what a time to
Se-
be alive.
oh, keeping ahead of the curve. Yeah. How can inflation be high when Fartcoin's on the rise? Well, you saw the
Oh
people
God.
selling bonds and moving into Fartcoin. I think that's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
it's kind of
exactly
doing.
that. It's the capital
Repositioning
reallocation.
risk.
Yeah, yeah, exactly
Yeah.
that. Exactly that.
Oh, all right. Well, let's get back onto some more
Yeah,
sensible
please,
news.
quick.
Bitcoin and Ethereum spot ETF flows from the 14th of April 2025. So yesterday, basically, Bitcoin ETFs saw $1.47 million flow in on a net basis to the spot products. Quite modest, but a positive day, ending the negative
Yeah.
streak that we've seen over the last week. So there we go. Ethereum spot ETFs saw only $5.9 million flow out of their ETF products. So, overall, not a terrible day for the crypto ETPs. Moving on to news that happened over the last 24 hours. Bitwise's CIO, Matt Hogan, said yesterday on a space, Bitcoin is acting notably different to prior pullbacks and could outperform the stock market during a correction for the first time since 2011. This comes in despite President Trump's tariff turmoil in recent weeks and the immense volatility. Bitcoin has effectively been flat over the past month. So
Ooh.
some notes there from Matt Hogan. I'd never know what to call this one. I went to say MicroStrategy, but I suppose that's referring to its old name, and we don't want to do that. Strategy, MSTR, same ticker, so
Yeah.
basically hasn't changed anything, is it? MSTR acquired 3,459 BTC yesterday, so that is around $285 million, worth an average of $82,600 per Bitcoin. Strategy now holds over 530,000 BTC, and their average position is ticked up to $67,556 per Bitcoin. So we're sat, what was it, around 20% ish above their position. So it'll be interesting, despite, on their
Panic
last
over
note,
for
I
now
think
then.
panic over for now. Until the next time, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. Until,
we're
until we
still
panic
we're
again.
still holding until we're not.
Yeah, exactly that.
Yeah, all right. So the SEC extended the review period for three proposed rule changes that affect the digital asset space. NYSE's ARC's proposal to allow Ether staking for Grayscale's Ethereum Trust ETFs and the CBOE's BZX's proposal to permit in-kind creations and redemptions for the Wisdom Tree Bitcoin Fund and the VanEck Bitcoin and Ethereum trusts. The new review deadlines are now June 1st and June 3rd of this year. So, well, that can's been kicked down the road, but I think, especially with the staking mechanism, it's not news that we weren't expecting. Tether announced it would deploy Bitcoin hash rate on Ocean Mining Protocol to support decentralized mining infrastructure. The initiative will leverage its Tether Energy project to connect distributed energy resources to the mining network. Exactly what that means, you'll have to ask someone else, but yeah, good for Tether. There's a bunch of words in that one. Right. Kraken has announced the launch of commission-free stock and
Yeah, I
ETF
saw
trading
this.
in the US. Yeah, through its newly formed Kraken Securities division. The service will roll out gradually across the US. Kraken has already secured regulatory approval in the UK, and is seeing a broker deal license from the, I'm going to just pronounce this as an acronym, the FINRA and the US Bloomberg as a, there we go. Yeah, from FINRA.
So
I don't
one
think
thing to
that's how
know
you
is that
say it.
they're obviously FINRA. That's it. Yes,
Yeah,
you,
all
you
right,
did that
brilliant.
right. It wasn't as bad as
Nailed
your
it.
Bahrain one that you messed up the other week, but we won't go back to that. One thing on what I will say on this is like, yeah, it's all well and good that brokers or exchanges start going, oh yeah, well, commission free, but they are making money out of you somehow. So I'd be
Yeah.
interested to see what the spreads are like, because it's very easy for people to go, oh yeah, no, we don't charge commission, but our spreads are just half a tick wider than everyone else. So that's where they get you. So it'll be interesting to see what the markets are like and how liquid they are. I imagine they'll be just kind of inferring or implying the price based on whatever the most liquid markets they relative to the contract that's at stake. So for instance, if they're doing say S&P or whatever, potentially I'm guessing they'll just be market making off maybe CME Globex prices or something like that. But yeah, interesting one to see how that plays out.
And this does follow their acquisition of NinjaTrader, so
Yeah.
they're not walking into this blind.
No, exactly that. Yeah, NinjaTrader connected to everyone, so makes sense.
Exactly. So Bloomberg analyst Eric, I can never say his last name. I
I
need
always
to
say
probably work on this.
I
Go
always say
on.
like Barhouse. Is that the one you want about?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not how I'd have said it at all. So I'm going to avoid that and just go with yes, whatever Ryan just said. Right. So he stated that several spot Solana ETFs in Canada are set to officially launch on April 16th. That will be Thursday, and they are expected to offer sole staking services. The Ontario Securities Commission has approved asset manager such as Purpose, Evolve, CL, and 3IQ to issue these ETFs. Currently, the US has not approved any crypto ETFs that support staking, as they delayed just yesterday the one for Ethereum. So they're slightly behind the curve on that one, but no doubt that will potentially change come June. Obviously, we just have to wait and see. The supply of Circle's Euro-backed stablecoin XE has reached an all-time high. So according to data from RWA, XE's supply has surged by 43% over the past month to 217 million tokens, valued around $246 million. Most of the XE tokens are circulating on the Ethereum network, where supply grew by 35% in the past month to 112 million tokens. Moving on, Bo Hines, Executive Director of the US Presidential Digital Assets Advisory Committee. A lot of titles going
I
on
was
in
gonna
that one
say,
there.
how many does he want?
I had a couple in there
Is that one of those
for
North
good measure.
Korean generals with a load of medals on his chest?
I wasn't about to make that comparison, but yes, yeah, sure. Right, so he said in a Thinking Crypto interview that the US must act quickly to compete globally in Bitcoin. He called for building a national strategic reserve through budget neutral means and mentioned exploring innovative funding options. This is what caught my eye, including using tariff revenues.
Ooh.
Right. That's they're adding the buzzword in there over the last couple of weeks. So Google will implement a new crypto advertising policy across the European Union starting April 23rd. Under the EU's MiCA regulation, advertisers must obtain authorization as a crypto asset service provider, that is CASP-P, and complete Google's verification process to promote crypto exchanges and wallets in all 27 member states. Google noted that violations will trigger at least a 7-day warning before any account suspension. So there you go. If you want to commit fraud on Google, you've got 7
You
days
get a
before they flag
yellow
you.
card before the red card.
Exactly. Have you
You're
seen
allowed
this yellow
one.
card?
You're allowed one, and then we're gonna come after you. So make it count.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Don't want to stop the revenue coming in too quickly there,
No,
Google.
exactly.
And lastly, an issue that looks like it's resolved, but we'll highlight it anyway, just in case you're wondering, why didn't my order fill? Binance announced that due to temporary network
Oh yeah.
outage at an AWS data center, some services on the Binance platform were affected. This also transfers to KuCoin. Although some orders were successfully executed, there were also order failures. So, underlying that, there were order failures. So just check if you're on Binance and you did have some limit order set. Users experiencing failures may try retrying, which is the good old turn it off and on again
Yeah.
and see if it
Do you know
works.
what?
There,
I'm getting
go on.
I'm getting flashbacks to back in the day when we used to, well, when I was like trading on, say, Eurex Life, CME, all of the above. And when if
Mhm.
one of the exchanges went down, if it was the exchange that went down and you had resting orders, you would just be panicking until basically it come back on, because you would have no idea if the order was automatically pulled, if it was still resting, was it just you that was down, could other people hit your order if it was resting? And in the end, you'd be phoning up the exchange. This is how long ago it was. You'd be phoning up a person at the exchange to basically pull your order manually off the exchange, and then sometimes their computers would be down, and literally you'd just be sat there like honestly shitting yourself until you got any clarity. And sometimes it could have taken hours to work out even if you got filled. What I would say is for the crypto guys out there, that this kind of situation is nothing new. This is, as long as there's been electronic trading.
Fascinating. I would imagine there were quite a few beers had after
Yeah.
that had happened.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, yeah, and during.
And during, yeah, well, obviously. It's good to note then, all services are gradually being restored and the withdrawal function has also been resumed. So they also pause withdrawals, which, yeah, makes sense.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
probably a little bit of an
that's
exploit,
literally
if you
actually.
could double withdraw. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely.
So
Cool. Is that you done?
that is pretty much me done. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I've
Thank you.
got a question for you. What's your opinion on? Sorry, what's the ticket OM, the one that kind of got absolutely rugged yesterday or the day before?
Oh, yeah.
Um, right. So, what's your opinion on one of the guys behind it giving his little video piece, like apologising for what happened and all of that stuff, whilst flaunting his Patek watch, which is probably about underground watch. I don't think it's the best optics, to be honest.
It's probably not great, and yeah, I think they should have ran that past their
Yeah.
advisory board before they
I
posted that
mean,
one
I mean,
out
like
onto
you can't be
socials.
sitting there going, "Oh yeah, sorry, I don't know what happened." Oh, it wasn't us selling. I promise. And then you're literally flaunting your platinum Patek. It was like, oh mate, have a word.
Yeah,
But
no, and
anyway,
that story's still continuing actually because they're
what is
still trying
going
to
on
get to
with
the
that
bottom of
then?
it. It without obviously making any finalized assumptions, it does look like there was just a large sell into really low liquidity, and there were just massive amounts of leverage that it just went through. So these people were just getting liquidated, entering
Right,
market at low price, and just driving it down. It basically
and
stop
then just
punted
and then just a
loads
complete
of people.
snowball.
Yeah. Um,
Right, yeah,
but
that makes
yeah,
sense.
just that's what it looks like. It doesn't particularly look like anything proper malice was going on. Whether it was the
Yeah.
team behind the wallet that sold or not, yeah, I don't know the answer. So it could well been. There's someone who I follow and who follows me who was one of the founders of that project. Now I'm not going to name him on here because he does like to throw out lawsuits. So
Oh
I'm
God.
going to keep that one.
Oh
I'll
God.
keep, I'll
And
keep
that's
that
the
one
end of the
quiet.
show.
Yeah. And on that note, I don't think he was had any involvement whatsoever, and he said the team are great.
And who are we to
Lovely chap.
argue?
Exactly. This is just a Crypto Blast update, giving you the latest in
Yeah,
the last
yeah,
24-hour
yeah.
news.
Please don't sue us.
Anyway, yeah, no, he just praised the team and said, look, everyone on there is pretty good. So who knows? Who knows?
Fair enough. Fair enough. Well, Cam, thank you so much as always for giving us the lowdown about what's going on in crypto space. Listeners, thank you as always for tuning in. Especially you guys playing this back on the replay, which is obviously makes sense that far more of you do that because then you can watch or listen to it in your own time. But yeah, thanks for, very much, Cam. Obviously, if you're not already following Institutional Fi, do so. And we'll be back tomorrow. Take care.